Oh, yeah. We're doing this. We are doing this. SSR on the fly. Yes. Winnie the Pooh. Blood and Honey 2. Okay. And anyone that follows me a little bit, we're going to get into this a little bit because I actually reviewed Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey #1 last year. And it wasn't good. We'll recap that a little bit. But I had to do this movie. Yes, they made a second one. They did. All right. So let's kick off with this fair use disclaimer. And remember, I'm trying to knock out all these scary ones I've seen because it's Halloween season. Okay. So, anyways, fair use disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, check, comment, always, news reporting, of course, teaching, constantly, scholarship with the right number of bits. I'll write you one. Research, of course. Fair use is permitted. Copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Good. Now with that, we can show the images and we're going to do a trailer. So we'll do the trailer and then we'll come back. I'll talk a little bit about this movie. I'll do a little bit of the WIA. What's it all about? Give you a little background. We'll talk about why this movie exists. And, the first one we'll talk about a little bit and then we'll talk about this one. And then I'll do the GBU. What's GBU? Good, the bad, the ugly. Well, we'll talk about it. Fluffy and Castle Boy. All right, I'll tell you the good of the movie. I'll tell you the bad of the movie. And then the ugly that found me. And then based on that, I'll give you a FUBAR rating, 1 to 5. 1 being good, 5 being really bad, that you should be hanging out with Pooh and his friends in the 100-acre woods or whatever the fuck it is. And just be stuffed in his jar of honey. And then since that confused me, we'll do it 1 through 10. Okay. So let's do the trailer. We'll do the trailer of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. All right. Shh. Oh, they did.
Let's begin. I'm going to take you back. Feel all weight drift away. How are you feeling?
Good, I think.
Do you recall anything from the session? Focus. What is happening?
This was the day Billy was taken.
Them kids. They didn't stay buried. As if the earth itself was allowing this horror to rise up.
There's some unsettling similarities to the 100-Acre Massacre.
It's not safe. There have been loads of murders leading to Ashdown.
Tell me everything you saw, please.
I knew that this day would come.
All of Ashdown will burn.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. So, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Okay. Let's talk about the first one a little bit. Hang on, I gotta show you. So we did the first one last year. I actually did a review. It's in my highlights. Hang on, let me get rid of that. Hang on, get rid of that. Pause that. Hang on, I gotta get this. All right. So hang on a second. Let me just go ahead and have a clip here. Hang on a second. If this is gonna work. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, so last year I did a review of. Hang on, you can't say. Let me hide me here, because there's me. There's past me here. Hang on a second. All right, so last year I did a review of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1, and you could see that on the VOD if you're a lot. But then I did an end of the year recap, and I just so we could talk about the movie. This is what I said about the first one. Okay, here's what we said about the first one. Floor. That was the practical effects we were dealing with. Okay, this is fear. If you want a good laugh, give it a try. Not this movie. But just remember, you heard it from here. Stream of Fubar, SSR on the fly. It's a 2 out of 10. All right, which one was that? 3? Okay. Okay, we're getting to the top 2. Everyone having fun? Everyone taking notes? This is the bottom 7. I put a lot of fucking effort into this, I'll tell you that. I had a few beers, too. The ranking of them, but this, I set up all these little things. Look at that. Bottom reviews. That fucking work, people. All for you. All for you. So second worst movie. Oh, yeah. Of the year. Shit. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Mark my words. You're about to get a Mickey Mouse fucking blood and shit. Nah, I don't. Blood and Minnie. I don't know. Oh, God, this fucking movie. So this also came in at a 4.5 Fubar and a 2 out of 10. This fucking movie. Oh, my God. So basically, Winnie the Pooh becomes public domain. So what do? They get a 6'7" motherfucking lumberjack. They put a Winnie the Pooh mask on him. Look at, you can even see he doesn't have Winnie the Pooh hands. He has normal fucking hands. Him and Piglet, that's all there are. They're just 2 dudes, I assume they're dudes, walking around with a fucking mask in human normal bodies, just killing people. I give them credit. Some of the kills were all right. They were a little over the top. I thought the only good part of the movie was the opening animation. I thought that the little animation... Okay. All right, so we can hide that now. Bring me back here. Okay, so... All right, okay. So, last year, I butchered this movie because it fucking deserved... The first one deserved to get butchered. You heard it. I gave it a 2 out of 10. Okay? 2 out of 10, people. So this one, however, okay. So let me get rid of that. Hang on, I just got to close that. Here's another one. Okay. Close that. We don't need that anymore. Honk. Okay. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay. So yeah, what exactly, Castle Boy? Castle Boy said they had more money for this one. He's absolutely right. Okay, and you can see it. I'll give you one fact. Okay. So basically, let's go back. The first movie was nothing but they got the public domain. You know, Winnie the Pooh got on public domain, and it was god awful. I don't know what the budget was. Like I said in my reviews, that I think somebody had a Winnie the Pooh mask and said, let's make a movie about that. The first one was just nonsensical. It was some okay kills, but it just was a very, very, very bad movie. This one, and like I said, that was a 4.5 Fubar. That was a 2 out of 10. Now let's talk about this one. This one. So what's this about? So basically, Christopher Robin. Now in the first movie, Christopher Robin was friends with the Pooh and all them when they were little. And then Christopher Robin, this was the first movie, goes off to college and stops bringing them food. So they get so mad at Christopher Robin that they decide when they grow from 3.5 feet to 6'7", that they're just going to start killing any human that comes into the 100-acre wood. And then when they're out of that, they just go hunt and kill people. Okay, or around the area. That's pretty much what that movie was about. Now this one, this is a sequel. Okay, this is a sequel. It's not like the first one didn't happen. So in this one, Christopher Robin though, he's seeing he's doing hypnotic therapy. He's trying to figure out what happened. Try to come down from what went down in the first movie. He's not well liked. The people in Ashtown can't stand him. He even finishes medical school. He gets in a hospital. The hospital's getting too much bad publicity, so he gets let go of the hospital. He's got a mom and a dad and a very young sister. And even his friends, some of his friends are kind of dissing him. So he's battling all this. And also he's discovering through his therapy and doing some research, he's starting to discover there's an origin. There's something that happened to his brother at their birthday parties, at one of the birthday parties. His brother was kidnapped. And he starts finding out that there was somebody kidnapping a bunch of kids, okay? And they were doing DNA experiments on it. So you could put two and two together and figure this out, okay? So they get into a little bit of the origin here. And meanwhile, hunters are trying to hunt down Pooh and everybody. And Pooh, Owl, and Tigger and Piglet, they go and take on hunters. And then they just... Owl's kind of like a new character in this that wasn't in the first one. The first one was just Pooh and Piglet. And this one now has Pooh, Piglet, the Owl. I don't know what he's got damn names. I don't remember this shit. I didn't really like Winnie the Pooh that much, but so Pooh, Owl, and Tigger, okay. And so Owl finally starts. He's tired of people coming and hunting them. So they go and take it and go to Little Ash Town and start killing some people, okay. So that's pretty much, you kind of, like I said, you got Christopher Robin dealing with his shit, finding out secrets, finding out what happened, where Pooh and them might have came from, Scooby doing all that shit, and meanwhile, then on the other side of this, you just have Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, and Owl just killing any fucking person they come across, okay. Then, of course, it all meets in a big climactic third act, okay. Not going to do any spoilers. It's a fucking Winnie the Pooh movie. I mean, it's not really a big thing to ruin here. Anyways, so what's the good? The good is, I'm going to be honest, this, and I think a lot of it, like, it's not just the budget. Castle Boy's right. But this is night and day to the first movie. It's very rare that sequels are so much better than the original, but that first movie was so fucking bad. I can't believe they made a second one. I think the first movie, when they got a hands, it was a race. They had to get Winnie the Pooh to be a killer movie, and they just scrapped some crap together, and that's what the first one is. This one had a totally different writer. He wrote, he directed. I forgot the individual's name. Do I have it? Hang on, let me see here if I get. I think I should name it because Rice Frake Waterfield. Okay, he directed it. And he wrote the story, okay? So, yeah, he did, so, of course, there was actually a story here. The first one was not really a story. It was just some girl had a traumatic experience. Her and her girlfriends rented an Airbnb, and Pooh and Piglet came and crashed the party, meanwhile, and killed some other rare people. It was just, it was, like I said, it was nonsensical. It was stupid. The original doesn't even touch this one. All right, so new writer, director, lot better script. Still had great kills in it, if you like that thing. Lots of use of tools, environmental kills, inventive, types of weapons, tools. Even people's limbs get torn off and used as weapons. So if you like that kind of stuff, so there's a lot of like different inventive types of weapons and killing to assist. This movie though, what's crazy about it? It's a lot more serious. The first two acts of this, kind of is like a bit of not detective, but like the way they build the origin. Okay, so this one's a lot more serious because Christopher Robin's going through a lot of shit, and why he stays in Ashtown is stupid. That's a bad. Of course, because he stays in Ashtown because the story has to happen. If he moves out of Ashtown, he's not. Then Pooh and them won't find him, and they won't. None of this will happen. So that's why he's got to stay there. But I think in real life, if you have that kind of thing and people think you're a murderer, and they're vandalizing your car and firing you from jobs, you would move out of this tiny little place of 10,000 people. But whatever. Story's got to happen. That happens. Okay. I think Owl and Tigger were I thought Owl was really good. Tigger was all right. He was good to a point, but I thought Owl was a pretty good character add-on. I thought the acting, I'll be honest, Scott Chambers plays Christopher Robin. Is it Robinson? The fuck's his name? Christopher Robin. Yeah, Christopher Robin. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, Christopher Robin. He was really good. Yeah, he really helped this movie. He was really good acting. I thought overall acting was fine, but I thought Scott Chambers as Christopher Robin. So the acting in this blew away the other movie. Just sank it. But Scott Chambers as Christopher Robin was solid, really solid in this. The rave party, you saw some clips of it. That was, if you like gore and kills, there's a lot in that. They do this thing. The only thing I liked about the first movie is they kind of do animation. They do this interesting animation. And some people might think, like, when they're talking about some backstory of the origin or what might have happened, they do this really... I really like the animation they do. They kind of did it in the first movie to kind of set up the movie about how Christopher Robin befriended Pooh and them. But this animation was really good about things that happened. So, yeah, some people might be like, oh, it's lazy. They didn't go film it and stuff. Well, probably. But sometimes I think that adds on to a movie. I don't think it's necessarily laziness, but it's more of adding our artistic type. A little extra artistic flavor. And that's what I saw in that. I really thought it was a very good animation. I mean, I like Pink Floyd The Wall. That had a fucking lot of animation in it. So it depends how it's used, okay? Sometimes it can be lazy because they don't want to do anything. I would rather have them do some kind of animation instead of some bullshit CGI thing that looks horrible. I'd rather them use some really cool animation with narration over it than try to have the narration with horrible CGI. So I really liked the animation. I think that was a positive in the first movie, the only positive in the first movie, and I think it really carried on in this one. Again, I thought it was like we just saw. I rated of the Winnie the Pooh first one was my second worst movie reviewed last year. This one is definitely obviously a huge turnaround from that. Good amount of practical effects. There's not much CGI at all in this. It's really, really practical, and I think that's a good thing. I think the CGI stuff looks really bad. Sometimes you could tell, like when Owl's flying, it looks a little quirky, but but everything else in here is all pretty much practical effects. Not much CGI at all. Pardon me. Pooh and his bear trap. He walks around dragging a bear trap, and he actually uses it pretty. He uses it in multiple ways, and I think that's actually pretty. He's a bear, big fucking bear guy, but he drags it around, and he uses it pretty well. The costumes were 1,000% better. Now, more on that. I don't think they were fantastic. I'm just saying they were 1,000%. Hello, bacon. I'm saying that they were a lot better. But this is what I heard. Now, I don't believe this. They said, remember, I watch these movies, I do some post research. Pooh's costume in this movie, they said cost $350,000. I still think that's a ripoff. What almost floored me is they said his costume in the first movie cost $10,000. Wow. I just can't believe it. That first costume, it was nothing but a fucking mask. I mean, that was like $100 Party City mask. I don't know where they got $10,000 for that fucking thing. So I don't know. I kind of, like I said the first time I reviewed the first movie, I kind of wanted more of a 3.5 foot Pooh, like Ted. Could you imagine Ted? I don't know if you gotta know who Ted is, the bear. Going around like Chucky and killing people that way, Winnie the Poohing it, with just his red shirt on, maybe ripping off their heads and using their heads as honey and dipping honey, that would have been cool. I still, the big bear's fine. It makes sense when you watch the movie. It makes sense why he is what he is, and he's not a small little 3-foot bear, and why they are what they are. But anyways, definitely upgrade in the costumes. Okay. So that's a lot of the good. Now let's get into some of the bad. Leading in, I said that the costumes were 1,000% better than the first movie, but again, those are so bad, it's not saying a lot. They're all right. They're all right, but again, it's practical. At least they made costumes. They didn't CGI them in, so I give them credit there. But I still think Pooh looked awkward. He had like kind of a thinner head. Didn't really have the Pooh face. I think in the first movie he had more of a Pooh face. So it depends on what you're doing, what you're trying to do with this movie. But anyways, he had very long arms. He just looked awkward. Tigger's costume, I don't know. The costumes weren't all that. I understand what they're trying to do, and they're not trying to reflect them totally like the characters. But you got to make a decision. What are you doing? You're taking the property name. So you're taking a property name now just really kind of for some similarities, but not total. So I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't totally the Piglet costume looked really bad. The Pooh costume was okay. Tigger's wasn't that great. Owl's might have been the better one of all of them. But anyways, maybe if there's a third movie they'll do better. But anyways, I don't think the costumes were all that, but God, it was a huge upgrade from the first movie. So much better. The other one was just the first movie was absolutely laughable. These were just like, okay, they just look like creatures, not really super reflecting what the IP is, but anyways, doesn't matter. Some people might think there's a little too much gore in this. It is a gory movie. So me, I'm okay with it, but some people might not like it and be like, okay, this is getting, there's a little too much of it. So that might turn some people off. Remember, all these bads are not necessarily my bads. Okay. Some people might think this movie is a little too serious for what should be such a simple premise, and I think that's credit to the writer of the story that they're trying to add more to this. It's not just some guys in costumes going around mindlessly killing people. They are still mindlessly killing people, but there's more to it. You learn more about it, and like I said, with the Christopher Robin and things going on, it really adds to it. Okay. Okay. I thought, like I said, I thought they were kind of inconsistent with the characters. I kind of would, I thought Tigger could have been a little bit better. So I thought that was a miss. But back to the seriousness of the movie and the slot. I think sometimes they kind of lost themselves. I respect what they were trying to do, but they kind of, with being a serious and with all the origin and everything, it was really like opposite sides of the spectrum. Like the seriousness of this movie compared to the just crazy slaughterness. I think they should have maybe balanced it a little bit more, maybe cut back on the nonsense of the slaughter and the not comedic slaughtering, but kind of like, the one-liners and then they get killed. It was fine, but I think it lost itself a little bit with that. Some of the dialogue was off with the characters, especially Tigger, because it's pretty apparent that at least Pooh and Tigger are they're mirrored off legacy type killers. I mean, Pooh is really Jason Voorhees in this movie. He's Jason Voorhees, and Tigger is by far Freddy Krueger. He is so Freddy Krueger. And there's things that turn me off about Tigger in this because just the way he talks like Freddy Krueger. He literally sounds like Freddy Krueger, and he calls women. He's like up with the current slang, and calls women bad names and stuff. And I don't know. I kind of would be more. It'd been better if he had more of a cartoonish type voice. I don't know. Maybe not. Owl and Piglet, I'm not too sure what they mirrored, but obviously Pooh and now that's kind of they're respecting those, but it seemed a little bit of a ripoff when you get a little like, okay, we get it, you're Jason Voorhees in a bear costume, got it, we understand that, we got it, okay, you're killing that guy again, okay, got it. So it gets a little bit monotonous, a little bit derivative there. I go back to this movie. It's Winnie the Pooh too. I don't think this had to be Winnie the Pooh. I mean, they didn't just by the name. I mean, if you look at them, if you alter their characters a little bit, they wouldn't necessarily totally reflect what you're used to from the stories, in those novels. But I think it's just them staying with that brand, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think this movie didn't have to be Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Owl. It would have been worked. It would have been fine if it was something else, the way they went with the origin. But anyways, okay. So what else do we got here? So I'm just reading some more notes here. Some of the lighting. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to say in the bad is, like I said, the first two acts were a very good mix of Christopher Robin's dilemma, him trying to figure out the origin, and some slaughter. And the third act, it just, they went to the big climactic thing, and it was very tropey and kind of predictable. And I don't know. I think it just kind of wrapped up real quick at the end, and the ending was okay. It just was a little bit of a letdown. Okay. Uglies, don't have any uglies. I don't have any uglies. I really don't. And I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked that I don't have uglies in this movie. I'm actually more shocked that I actually watched this movie twice, because I saw this earlier in the year, and I just finished a rewatch, because when I saw my rating, I'm like, hang on, I got to check this out again. So anyways, all in all, it's a great turnaround from the original. It does get a lot of criticism for being too serious, but I liked its dark origin, and I did like the serious take of it. Like I said, the original was nothing but ridiculous, stupid, mind-numbing slasher with nothing. It was just total trash. This movie was actually a bit more entertaining to watch. I don't know if it's a ton of rewatchability. I don't think it's going to be a Halloween movie staple. I don't think every Halloween you're going to be like, oh, put Winnie the Pooh 2 in. But what I'm just saying, it's for what it is, definitely a lot better than the first one. Again, takes itself a lot more serious than a lot of other horror movies. I mean, this would probably fall, like, if you want to compare this to franchises like Friday the 13th and Halloween, those are Friday the 13th is a decent franchise. This would probably fit in the in below maybe how good of a slasher movie this is. It'd probably fit just below half, between half and 2/3. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be doing a Halloween movie tiering next Friday. Those movies aren't that great, and this would probably fit in in like the middle of like other Halloween movies, possibly. But anyways, let's get to the rating. Let me get to the rating. Drum roll. We got another movie to do, idiot. All right. Drum roll. Okay. What am I giving this thing again? Jesus Christmas. All right. Drum roll. Bop. Oh no, I'm in the wrong spot. Ta-da! All right, 2.5 FUBAR. I can't believe it. 2.5 FUBAR is a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. I hate to say it, but because of what it is, I'm actually giving this a 6.5 out of 10. I don't know why. I am. I find it. I think it's a pretty good watch. I was really surprised. I had to watch it again. I thought the Christopher Robin character. I just really, if you like these kind of gory type movies, some fun kills, and you want to watch it for Halloween, it's a good fit. Okay, where to watch it and should you watch it? Okay, well, right now you have two choices. If you have Peacock, you can watch it for free. If you don't, it's a $13 rental on Amazon or Google. Okay. All right. Again, if you like these type of slasher movies, and this has some serious background and origin. Oh, by the way, the bad too is the costume